Welcome to Road Code Race Analysis. I'm Dan Martin, and I'm going to be taking a closer look into how the race was won on the roads of the 2023 Tour of Britain. So stage 1, Altrincham to Manchester. The team briefings this morning would have centred around the composition of the breakaway that will be allowed to escape. Obviously, a lot of the World Tour teams will be interested in having a sprint with Fernando Gaviria, Sam Bennett and Olaf Koy from Movistar, Bora and Jumbo-Visma. And with strong teams to back them up, they would have been expected to chase down a breakaway. There are no bonus seconds on the race this year to decide the general classification, meaning that stage placings are going to be crucial. Not losing time, but also about finishing as far forward in the peloton as possible. Once the breakaway was established, we saw Jumbo-Visma take up the chase behind. There was a certain amount of brinkmanship between the other World Tour teams as they refused to help the chase despite the breakaway getting close to the finish line. The roster that Jumbo-Visma have arrived at Tour of Britain with is clearly intimidating for the rest of the peloton, and I think they will be expected to take up the majority of the pacing throughout this week, which will be interesting to see how they cope. With 6 corners in the final 2 kilometres and some of the world's strongest lead-out trains on show, I would have been looking at that corner with 2 kilometres to go as my finish line. Jumbo-Visma still entered into the final 3 kilometres with 4 riders, having worked hard to chase down the breakaway all day. Just as the lead-out was potentially looking a little bit short, they had some help from Ryan Mullen. There are no bonus seconds on the race this year to decide the general classification, meaning that stage placings are going to be crucial. They went into the final kilometre with 3 riders, and their lead-out was at such a pace that there was gaps opening up in the string of riders behind them. Basically, if you weren't in the front with 2k to go, you weren't ever going to get there. And so to the last turn. You see here Van Aert lets off the pedals, takes a breath before entering the corner, and then launches out of the turn as hard as he can. With Olaf Koy on his wheel, it was inevitable that his sprinter was going to win the stage. What I found most interesting was that Van Aert, after being passed by his sprinter, got right in onto his wheel. First, he checked over his shoulder to be sure there was no sprinters coming up fast, and when it was safe, he got in the slipstream and managed to hold on to second place, which could be crucial for the fight for the general classification, as his main rival for the overall, Tom Pidcock, finished down in 11th, which means now Tom Pidcock has to take back 10 accumulated positions on Van Aert in the stages that follow. Or, of course, he can go for some time. Much easier said than done, of course. Now we head on to stage 2, and with Jumbo-Visma in the leader's jersey and another expected sprint finish, they will again be expected to take responsibility for the chase behind the breakaway. But with the stage being only 110 kilometres, about 2.5 hours of racing tomorrow, it's a distance that the whole peloton can race full gas from start to finish. Join me to find out.